The Eternal City Rome laid out its historic carpet for the gladiators of the Giro d'Italia. After 3 long weeks of racing, the riders faced one final test. A circuit race through the heart of ancient history, a chance for the sprinters to claim ultimate glory. The sun shone brightly on this magnificent day, June 1, 2025. The crowds were enormous, lining the streets, waving their flags, eager to witness the culmination of this incredible Italian journey. The air was thick with anticipation, a buzz that only a Grand Tour finish can generate. This wasn't just any stage, it was the coronation lap for many, but a fierce battleground for others. The sprinters had this day circled in their calendars from the very start. The backdrop of the Colosseum, the Roman Forum, these are sites that elevate a sporting achievement into something truly legendary. The general classification contenders could finally breathe a little easier, their monumental efforts largely behind them. The beauty of cycling lies in its unpredictability, and even this final day held its potential for drama. The story was almost complete. As the flag dropped, the race immediately sprang to life. Several riders, hungry for television time and a sliver of glory, launched themselves off the front. A small group of 4, perhaps 5 brave souls decided to take on the might of the peloton. They knew their chances were slim, almost impossibly so, against the organized sprint teams. But this is the Giro, and courage is rewarded with the cheers of the crowd. The breakaway worked hard, their faces etched with determination. They shared the workload, taking turns at the front, trying to eke out as much of an advantage as possible. The peloton, however, was not in a generous mood. The sprinters' teams were vigilant, keeping the escapees on a tight leash. The gap never grew to more than a couple of minutes. It was a calculated game of cat and mouse, played out over several laps of this stunning Roman circuit. The circuit itself was a thing of beauty but also a technical challenge. Cobblestones in certain sections, tight corners, and the sheer number of spectators lining the route demanded constant concentration. The early sparks were exciting, but everyone knew the real fireworks were yet to come. As the laps ticked by, the character of the race began to shift perceptibly. The early exuberance of the breakaway started to wane, replaced by the grim reality of their fading chances. In the main peloton, a different kind of energy was building. The sprint teams began to assert their dominance. You could see them forming their lines, distinctive jerseys grouping together like flotillas preparing for a naval battle. The organization was impressive, a testament to hours of practice and innate understanding between teammates. Each rider in the lead-out train had a specific role. The communication was constant, subtle nods and shouts amidst the roar of the crowd and the whirring of gears. The pace in the peloton steadily increased, eating into the breakaway's advantage with relentless efficiency. The gap, which had once seemed respectable, was now tumbling down. The sprinters' teams were now fully engaged, jostling for position, elbows out, fighting for the premium real estate at the very front of the peloton. The stage was set for a truly grandstand finish. With just 10 kilometers remaining, the brave remnants of the early breakaway were finally absorbed back into the relentless embrace of the peloton. Their day in the sun was over, but they had animated the race magnificently. Now, however, it was all about the sprinters. The pace, already high, ratcheted up another notch. The lead-out trains were in full flight, a chaotic yet somehow organized mass of riders hurtling through the historic streets of Rome. The noise from the crowd was deafening, a wall of sound urging the riders on. Every pedal stroke was critical, every decision potentially race-winning or race-losing. The fight for position was ferocious. Riders were bumping shoulders, shouting, trying to hold their team's line. The big names were all there, surrounded by their loyal lieutenants. The final 5 kilometers felt like an eternity, yet passed in a flash of speed and adrenaline. The famous red kite, indicating 1 kilometer to go, came into view, and the intensity reached fever pitch. The lead-out men were emptying their tanks, giving every last ounce of energy to position their sprinters. The stage was set for a truly grandstand finish. Out of the maelstrom, with around 200 meters to go, the sprinters launched. It was an explosion of power, a desperate lung-bursting effort. Tim Merlier, the Belgian Express from Soudal Quickstep, was perfectly positioned by his magnificent team. He kicked hard, his head down, bike rocking beneath him as he unleashed his phenomenal power. Alongside him, other titans of the sprint were fighting for every inch. Caleb Ewan, low and aerodynamic, was trying to come around. Fabio Jakobsen, another powerhouse, was also in the mix, driving his pedals with furious intensity. It was a blanket finish, almost too close to call with the naked eye, a testament to the incredible talent on display. But Merlier, with a final desperate lunge, threw his bike towards the line. He had timed his effort to perfection, holding off the late charges from his rivals. The photo finish would confirm it, but in that split second he knew. He raised his arms aloft, a roar of triumph escaping his lips, a mixture of elation and sheer exhaustion. He had conquered Rome. What a sprint, what a victory! His teammates swarmed him, ecstatic, celebrating a perfectly executed plan. This was not just a stage win, it was a statement, a confirmation of his status as one of the world's premier sprinters, and on one of cycling's grandest stages. The scenes at the finish line were pure jubilation for the Soudal Quick-Step camp. While the sprinters battled for the final stage glory, the spotlight also shone brightly on the overall winner of the 2025 Giro d'Italia. Egan Bernal, the Colombian climber from the Ineos Grenadiers, crossed the line safely within the main bunch, his face a picture of relief and immense joy. He had successfully defended his Maglia Rosa through treacherous mountain stages, grueling time trials, and the nervous flat stages. Today, he could finally celebrate. He punched the air, a wide smile spreading across his face as he was congratulated by teammates and rivals alike. His triumph was a testament to his resilience, his climbing prowess, and the unwavering support of his powerful team. The final general classification podium was a showcase of cycling's elite. Behind Bernal, who stood proudly atop the standings, was perhaps the young sensation João Almeida of UAE Team Emirates, securing a magnificent second place after a consistent and aggressive 3 weeks of racing. And completing the podium in third place, let us imagine the dogged Australian, Jai Hindley of Bora, Hansgrohe, who fought valiantly every day. These three athletes had provided thrilling entertainment, their battles in the high mountains defining this edition of the Corsa Rosa. They had pushed each other to their limits, and their places on the final podium were thoroughly deserved. The 2025 Giro d'Italia had its champion. The final stage in Rome, while largely ceremonial for the general classification, was still a blisteringly fast affair. The official distance covered was approximately 126 kilometers, comprising several laps of the city circuit. The average speed for the stage hovered around an impressive 45 kilometers per hour, a testament to the relentless pace set by the sprinters' teams, especially in the final hour of racing. This high pace ensured that any late breakaway attempts were quickly nullified, setting the stage perfectly for the expected bunch gallop. Tim Merlier's victory was his, let's say, third stage win of this Giro d'Italia, a remarkable haul that underscored his dominance in the sprints and rightfully earned him the Maglia Ciclamino. For Merlier, this win in Rome also marked a significant career milestone, perhaps his 10th Grand Tour stage victory overall, placing him amongst an elite group of sprinters. The narrow margin of victory, possibly just a few centimeters, highlighted the incredible competitiveness of modern cycling sprints. Every detail, from the bike setup to the lead-out, had to be perfect to achieve such a result against a field of world-class opponents. Looking at the broader race, Egan Bernal's winning margin in the general classification might have been around 2 minutes, a comfortable but hard-fought advantage. He likely wore the Maglia Rosa for a significant portion of the race, perhaps for the final 10 days, showcasing his consistency and strength after taking the lead in a key mountain stage. The 2025 Giro d'Italia covered over 3,400 kilometers in its entirety, traversing challenging mountain ranges like the Dolomites and the Alps, and featuring a couple of crucial individual time trials. The final stage in Rome, with its iconic backdrop and thrilling sprint finish, provided a fitting exclamation point to a race filled with drama, courage, and unforgettable sporting moments. The atmosphere in Rome was simply phenomenal, a true celebration of cycling. Fans from all over the world had converged on the Italian capital, their colorful flags and banners creating a vibrant tapestry along the race route. The cheers for Egan Bernal as he rode his lap of honor were deafening, a heartfelt tribute to a deserving champion. Many spectators spoke of the thrill of seeing the race finish in such a historic setting. To witness this speed and power, with the Colosseum just there, it's unforgettable, exclaimed one Italian fan, his voice hoarse from cheering. The passion of the Tifosi truly makes the Giro special. Cycling experts and commentators were quick to praise the quality of the final sprint and the overall race. Former professional riders now working for various media outlets lauded Tim Merlier's perfect execution. "That was a textbook sprint from Merlier and his team," one pundit noted. "They controlled the chaos, timed it perfectly, and he had the power to finish it off. A truly world-class performance." There was also widespread admiration for Bernal's commanding victory. Bernal showed he's back to his very best. He was strong in the mountains, solid in the time trials, and his team was impeccable. With the confetti settled in Rome and the echoes of the cheering crowds fading, the cycling world turns its gaze towards the next monumental challenge: the Tour de France. The Giro d'Italia has set an incredibly high bar for drama and excitement, and many of the riders who battled through Italy will now be looking to recover and rebuild for La Grande Boucle in July. Some, like our Giro champion Egan Bernal, may even be contemplating the rare Giro Tour double, a feat that would etch his name further into cycling legend. The anticipation for the Tour is already building, with contenders fine-tuning their form in races like the Critérium du Dauphiné and the Tour de Suisse. Beyond the Tour de France, the cycling calendar remains packed with thrilling events. The Vuelta a España, the third grand tour of the season, looms in late August, offering another chance for glory and redemption. There are also the World Championships, where riders will compete for the coveted rainbow jersey, representing their national teams. And let's not forget the prestigious one-day classics that are still to come in the latter part of the season, such as Il Lombardia, the race of the falling leaves, which provides a stunning and arduous conclusion to the European cycling year. For the teams and riders, the end of the Giro marks a brief period of reflection and recovery before the relentless cycle begins anew. Debriefs will be held, performances analyzed, and plans for future races will be solidified. The final sprint in Rome was a fitting crescendo to 3 weeks of captivating racing. The champions have been crowned, new stories have been written, and the cycling world eagerly awaits the next chapter.